Did you know that God's Learning Channel is available on a wide variety of different platforms? For starters, GLC can be watched in parts of Texas, New Mexico, Oklahoma, and Colorado by cable or antenna. GLC is also available to watch on our Galaxy 19 direct-to-home satellite equipment throughout North America with no subscription fees. Great for viewers in rural areas with no internet connection. Our free broadcast and program archives are available via 24/7 web streaming on our website at glctv.tv. For our online friends, GLC Radio and audio podcasts are available for free streaming throughout iTunes, TuneIn, or Shoutcast on your computer or mobile device. Likewise, our YouTube channel contains hundreds of free video clips that you can easily share with your friends and family. You can also watch our live broadcast or program archives of your favorite episodes directly on your television with an affordable subscription-free device called Roku, containing thousands of channels to choose from. We urge our viewers to take advantage of these various ways to watch or listen to GLC, and we ask that you spread the word to your friends and family. We can't continue to grow without your help.
Well, praise God and welcome to Wednesday's update with my two good co-hosts, Amy and Tommy. Where are we going, Amy and Tommy?
We might do the news.
That would be unique.
That's what I was thinking. That's the thing about GLC. You actually get the real news here. Things that are actually going on.
Shocking news, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Where are we going to start?
With your letter.
My letter, all right. This is a good letter. Here's my gift towards GLC Need. I really enjoyed Judy Reamer's new program. She is a wonderful testimony. I can't wait to see the next program when it airs. And Happy New Year 2016 to everyone at GLC, especially the nice lady, Jerry, who runs the bookstore. She is very patient and keeps me and helps me when I come in. That comes from Arby from Midland. That's a good compliment.
That is.
Jerry is really, really great at giving people information when they call.
That's right.
That they're not privy to. I know that, I think it might have been yesterday, maybe the day before. No, it was yesterday. A lady called. She wanted one of the programs, one of the Lots programs with Ben Burton, with those fabulous teachings, and that's what she was ordering, a DVD of that program. And Jerry told her, those are available. He did 5 Lots programs, and we packaged those together and available in a set. She couldn't believe it. She bought 3 of them on the spot.
How about that?
That's something. Well, call Jerry. She can use your help.
Okay, so also I need to tell you, Monday I mentioned that we had added, we had gotten in copies of Yeshua Matters and Israel Matters in the bookstore. I'm not so sure those haven't sold out already, but you want copies of those. You want to read that book. But I failed to mention another book that came in called The Taming of the Tongue. And I can tell you, this is also from FFOZ, everybody on the planet needs to read this book. Everybody. It's incredible.
I want to.
Okay.
And we have some orders on their way in right now.
Good.
From Lars Anderson's program last week that we re-aired. One of them is his book that came out about 10 months ago called Joy of the Whole Earth. It's about Jerusalem.
Mm-hmm.
Those are on their way in. And the other is his daily devotional is basically what it is. And it's every day that has your readings from the Torah, the writings, the prophets, and the New Testament, along with a place for you to write what you just learned that day or what it did for you spiritually.
Great.
Mm-hmm. So, anyway, lots of good things getting added to the bookstore.
Good. It's a great place.
The bookstore is a great place. So, what is your devotion about, Mother?
Well, it's how to be holy.
Set apart for God, holy?
Yeah. Right.
Or with holes in our head?
No, not that. Loving God makes your life holy. We've had this backwards. We think that the commandments are what set us apart. This is not true. A person can keep all the commandments of the Bible and not love God.
Boy, that's true.
Yeah, they might be set apart from the world, but a Torah keeper without love is not set apart unto God. We are to love Him first, and our obedience to the commandments should be a result of our love to Him. We're then to show that love to others. If you love me, keep my commandments, Jesus said in John 14:15. Notice the order here. Love Him first and then keep the commandments. Therefore you shall love God your Elohim and keep His charge and His judgments, His rulings and His commandments always. And that's Deuteronomy 11:1. He that has my commandments and keeps them, he it is that loves me. And he who loves me shall be loved by my Father, and I will love him, and I will reveal myself to him. Again, that was Jesus speaking, John 14:21. Our obedience is proof that we love God. When we choose to sin, then we choose the love of self over the love of God. Commandments are for us to connect to Him. Obedience to the commandments does not make God love us more. God does not love Torah keepers more than Torah breakers. His love is unconditional. The purpose of the commandments is to help us to know His divine will and walk in His love. The Torah of God is perfect, converting the soul, David said in Psalm 19:7. We prove to God that we are His disciples by keeping His commandments. We prove to the world that we are disciples of God by loving one another. Make a choice to love God more by loving someone else more.
You know, it's interesting to me that
That's such a simple thing,
Yeah.
and we have such a hard time accepting it.
well, there's so many people raised like I was in replacement theology, and you didn't bother with the Old Testament.
It's in the
It was
New.
just extra pages you took in a Bible. Okay.
Well, and look at the,
And didn't read the ones you had in the New Testament
yeah, most people don't read their Bibles at all.
at all.
But like I was saying the other day, why bother with the Old Testament?
It says it's old.
It's been done away with.
Well, everything hasn't been fulfilled yet. We're all Christian believers who think that the Old Testament has been done away with. Why is it that we're waiting for Messiah to return? Maybe that's because in the Old Testament it talks about the Messiah who rules and reigns. And he does that right here on planet Earth.
Yeah, right.
So we're really, really confused about our future. We're just about pretty much confused about our future as we are about the past.
Oh,
We
yeah.
don't know the past, so we're really confused about what's actually going to be happening. Thus, GLC.
Amen.
Thank you, Lord.
Amen.
Okay, so what do we got?
Well, we have an announcement from Intercessors for America.
All right. Ever since the now infamous U.S. Supreme Court decision on January 22nd, 1973, legalizing unrestricted abortion on demand in the United States, no other single cause has prompted more consistent prayer across our nation than the issue of life in the womb. Many Christian leaders have called that date a turning point from which our country has never recovered. And yet thousands of intercessors have pressed on patiently, continuing to pray. As a result, God is showing His grace and power, and hearts are being changed. Glimmers of hope are bringing forth increased faith. There is evidence that light is advancing and darkness is receding. For the first time in many years, a majority of Americans now call themselves pro-life. Overturning Roe versus Wade seems actually to be a possibility in our lifetime. God is at work answering the prayers of His people. January is National Sanctity of Life Month, and the Intercessors for America encourages you to fast and pray with many like-minded believers for these innocent lives at risk. Beginning January 17th, They will share a week-long series of daily devotions. And they encourage you to invite your family, friends, prayer group, and church leaders to pray with them. Each devotional, including specific prayer points, will be delivered daily to your inbox if you request it during that week of prayer. In addition, they'll have a focused time of prayer during a National Sanctity of Life prayer conference call on Friday, January the 22nd at 12:15 p.m. Eastern Time. Leaders from the pro-life movement will be sharing their various perspectives and will lead everyone in prayer during that call. They have found such unity to be quite powerful. To join the call, you may call GLC for information, either the office or the bookstore. Together with God's help, we can lift the culture of life in our nation to a new height.
Amen. Thank you for doing that.
You know, a lot of why people have changed their tune and are saying, now I'm pro-life, has a lot to do with those videos that came out
Absolutely.
over the summer. The secret little videos that, you know, people don't want to look at the reality of abortion because it's so brutal. It's so sickening. They don't want to look at it.
It's
And so they don't.
atrocious.
But those videos made people sit up and go, oh my gosh, this is worse than I could have ever imagined.
Oh, yeah.
And it is. And so
It
another
is.
article from Intercessors for America.
Yes, it is.
It's now official. The Supreme Court has scheduled a status conference on January 22nd, same day, the 43rd anniversary of Roe v. Wade and Doe versus Bolton, to consider whether to accept the North Dakota case banning abortion after 6 weeks. This is a year of miracles, signs, and wonders. And this is actually a sign from the Lord, says the Intercessors for America. It only fell on this particular date because the Arkansas abortionists tried to ignore the case and not file a response brief. And the Supreme Court demanded that response brief from the Arkansas abortionists. Seeing this unusual interest from the court, the North Dakota abortionists asked for extra time to file their response brief. Well, that request for extra time by the abortionist was granted, which threw the status conference consideration date for North Dakota to January 22nd. Their time is up. IFA says the covenant with death will be annulled, and the agreement with the Lord will stand. The Lord will rise up as in the valley of Gibeon, but we must pray and contend. That's Isaiah 28:14 through 22.
It's a crucial time in America. Like God told us in, I think, Deuteronomy 30, choose life.
You know,
That you and your offspring may live.
we had done a story on Planned Parenthood on Monday, but we ran into technical difficulties, and so it did not air at 7 p.m. on Monday. At this point in time, we are planning on re-airing it in Friday's update.
Okay.
So, because it's very, very important, everything that was contained in that. Right now, it looks like we have a video, an update from Israel with Doron Keidar.
Yes.
Hi, this is Doron Keidar with another Israel update. And today I want to talk about what's taken place in the past few weeks here. We have been facing a wave of terror like never before. And I'm telling you, as one who's grown up here, I can tell you I've never seen anything like this, where the reign of terror is lurking in every city, every area in Israel. There's no place that's safe anymore, is really what it feels like for many of the civilians living in Israel. Many people are afraid even to leave their homes because of the reign of terror that's taking place. They don't know if it's if there will be a terror attack in Beersheba, in Tel Aviv, in Kiryat Malachi, in Jerusalem, in Haifa. It really, that's the type of reign of terror that's really been plaguing this nation in the past few months, and it's really unbearable, I can tell you. But at the same time, I've been listening to Jeremy and Ari, who have a special radio update that they give from Israel on a weekly basis, and they kind of really just inspired me, because you know what they reported is something that you won't hear on the news. Is that in the overall, was it 800 attacks that we've had in a few months, how many miracles have taken place? How many terrorists have had afforded a terror attack simply because they forgot to put bullets in their weapon, or because the knife handle broke off so they couldn't repeatedly stab their victim more. Just on and on and on. I mean, they were just going through the list of just a few of the miracles that's been taking place, and that's something the media, of course, doesn't want to talk about. They just want to talk about the bad news. So what I'd like to say is that inspired me. You know, when we hear about miracles that are taking place, even in the face of adversity, that's exciting. That means that even though Israel is being judged, I would say, on the one hand, because of our lack of assertive decisions that need to be taken concerning the Temple Mount, Judea and Samaria, and our fight against terror in this land. Because of playing it the politically correct way, what we're doing is we're reaping judgment on ourselves, and our civilians are paying a very heavy price for that. So what I can say is that yes, we've seen a lot of this terror, but at the same time, I've seen the mercy, the grace of God, the supernatural protection against all these odds that have been coming against us. And what I would say is we need to really, as a nation, we really need to look internally, and we need to start deciding, what are we going to do? Are we going to try to continue to appease the nations, or are we going to do what's right? And what I think is what's right is what is biblically correct. See, we as a people, we have a right to this land simply because God said so. And the minute you veer from God said so to what's the political agenda of today, what's the politically correct terminology and ideas floating around, once you float into that, you get into adversity, you get into trouble. Because God has allotted this land for specific people, for a specific purpose, and under certain specific guidelines. And the minute we veer from that, we hurt ourselves. But the minute we realize how important it is that we stand on our biblical principles, which, by the way, the whole world has benefited from our biblical principles. Israel received the Torah, and we gave it to the nations, and basically most all legal systems in the world stem from a biblical justice in their justice system. Now we need to start to apply that justice system within our country, within our government, within our nation, within our politically correct agenda, if you will. Because that is really what's correct. That's really what's true, and that's what's going to not just bring an end to the conflict here in the Middle East, in this area, but it will bring an immediate resolve for the self-determination of the nation of Israel and the self-determination of the Palestinian people, who really, they deserve to have a homeland, they deserve to have a right, but we need to decide where that homeland is, where that right is, where they belong, where we belong. And then we will have a true, democracy and peace and security within the land of Israel. This is what I think needs to be done. We need to make that resolve. We need to make that decision. It's a bold decision. It's a hard decision, because this is a secular nation in many regards, especially when it comes to politics, especially when it comes to deciding about what to do with our security, with the Palestinians, and with Israeli rights, and so on and so on and so forth. So this is Doron Keidar with another Israel report. I hope this helped you with giving you a little bit more of an insight of what's happening here in the land of Israel lately. Shalom from Israel.
Okay.
Did you hear him say 600 attacks?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah. There's so
It's
many
all
attacks
the
going on
time.
over
But
there.
you haven't heard that anywhere
no.
else.
No. Hey,
Okay.
Doron is headed stateside
Is he?
at the end of this month,
Good.
I believe, but it's a very, very short trip that he's making.
Mm-hmm.
It's like at most, like not even 3 weeks. So I'm telling you, if you want him to come speak, you need to go to cryforzion.com and contact him to set that up. Right now, I know that he is speaking in Lubbock and he is speaking in Roswell, New Mexico. But other than that, I don't know anything.
Really?
And tonight, this was quite by accident, actually. We are repeating Light of the Southwest that was recorded with Doron and John Innerson, actually, that we filmed, I think, last July. It's an excellent program. Even if you've seen it, you want to see it again. Those boys, they're a great tag team.
That's right.
Helping Christians to understand the importance of not only Jerusalem biblically, but the Temple Mount.
Yeah.
So there you are. That's what Cry for Zion is all about.
It is. It
Okay,
is.
what next, Mama?
Well, I have a report from Gatestone Institute, and this tells you a little bit about what Doron was talking about. In a 30-minute video produced in Gaza by a new group, the pro-ISIS Palestinian Islamic Army, the PIA, Hamas leaders are denounced for aligning themselves with moderate Arab leaders in the Gulf, who are described as criminals and enemies of Islam. A frame from a recent video shows the PIA followers pledging allegiance to ISIS Caliph Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi. Apparently, Hamas has been too kind to Christians living in the Gaza Strip. The narrator blasts Hamas leaders for offering greetings to Christians on their holidays. The video constitutes proof positive that the ISIS ideology has infiltrated Gaza, the truth that Hamas has unsuccessfully been trying to conceal for the past year.
Egyptian security officials have attested repeatedly that the Gaza Strip has become a major exporter of jihadists to the Sinai. Events have proven those officials are correct. It seems that there may be valid reasons for Egypt's reluctance to open the Rafah border crossing with Gaza, as well as to Israel's opposition to lifting the naval blockade on Gaza, initiated to prevent weapons from being imported to Hamas and other extremists in the Gaza Strip. The PIA video provides definitive proof that the Gaza Strip has become a hub for jihadi groups posing a murderous threat not only to Israel and the West, but also to Muslims who are deemed by the terrorists as lacking in religious standards.
In the video, Hamas leaders Ismail Haniyeh and Khalid Mashal are denounced for aligning themselves with moderate Arab leaders in the Gulf, who are described as criminals and enemies of Islam. The video also damns Hamas leaders for their alliance with the Shiite Muslims of Iran and Lebanese Hezbollah. For the PIA, Hezbollah leader Hassan Nasrallah is a Satan waging war on Sunni Muslims, and this Satan is in good company. The Hamas government in the Gaza Strip is a sect of apostasy and blasphemy, the PIA video declares. Muslims are urged vigorously to distance themselves from the heretical Hamas.
Hamas has brought nothing but havoc to its people in the Gaza Strip. As for the Palestinian Authority and its leader, Mahmoud Abbas, all that is left for them is to be grateful for the presence of Israel in the West Bank. Without the Israeli military, Hamas and ISIS would eat Abbas and his Palestinian Authority for breakfast. One wonders, is this the sort of state that Palestinians are seeking to establish? The PIA holds Hamas responsible for the deaths of 11 of its members in the Gaza Strip. One of the leaders and founders of the Islamic-affiliated PIA, Mutaz Dakmash, known by his nickname Abu al-Majd, was killed in an Israeli airstrike 2 years ago, much to the satisfaction of Hamas. The video reveals that ARC terrorist Dakmash was involved in the 2006 abduction of Israeli soldier Gilad Shalit and the assassination of 2 Palestinian security commanders in the Gaza Strip, Musa Arafat and Jad Tayyeh.
A second jihadi mentioned in the video, Sultan al-Harbi, is described as a senior member of ISIS who received military training in Yemen, Sudan, and Libya before returning to the Gaza Strip. He too was killed last year in an Israeli airstrike. Nadel al-Asi, known as Abu Hurara, was another PIA member in good standing before becoming the first Palestinian to be killed in Syria while fighting for ISIS. Al-Ashi participated in multiple rocket attacks on the enemies of Allah, the Jews, and attacks on churches and other Christian targets in Gaza, as well as attacks on Western journalists and diplomats.
Now that's, the PIA is something that,
It's a
whole new
group.
thing, but it's something that, we need to make sure that we're always spelling out who the PIA is before we do an article, maybe while we're doing an article. The PIA is a pro-Islamic State Palestinian Islamic Army. PIA, Palestinian Islamic Army.
Right.
We don't want to get confused about this because, for too long, the world has been referring to the biblical heartland of Israel, Judea and Samaria, as the West Bank. Confusion reigns in Christianity over that. They have no idea, in reality, that when the West Bank is being talked about, that's the biblical heartland. Honey, that's where everything took place.
It belongs legally to the Jews.
It does belong legally to the Jewish people. And that's also why Scripture told us at the end times what would be happening over that area and over the Temple Mount.
And it is.
And man, it's ramping up every single day.
It is.
Okay, from a few ICEJ news briefs, as tensions continue to boil between Iran and Saudi Arabia, nuclear-armed Pakistan has taken the step of announcing that it would respond militarily to any threat to Saudi Arabia, raising the specter for Iran of a two-front conflict should open hostilities commence. The statement came on the same day as a meeting of foreign ministers of the Arab League issued a statement of solidarity with Saudi Arabia and condemning Iran for what it described as Tehran's patterns of meddling in Arab affairs and undermining regional stability. The Gulf Cooperation Council issued a similar statement on Saturday. Meanwhile, proxy conflicts between armed factions supported by the two countries in Syria, Iraq, Yemen, and elsewhere continued over the weekend with heavy casualties reported by all sides.
The American Historian Association, a professional grouping of university professors, rejected an attempt made at their annual meeting over the weekend to condemn Israel. Opponents of the motion said that the accusations made that Israel mistreats Palestinian academics was accompanied by unconvincing or non-existent evidence, managing to convince 111 conference attendees to vote against it, while 50 voted for it. AHA members rebuffed the efforts of BDS, boycott, divest, and activists to exploit American academic groups to single out Israel for condemnation. American Jewish Committee CEO David Harris said.
And get this, legendary American vocal artist Pat Boone, who played a big part in Judy Reamer's coming to know the Lord.
Yes.
Well known among Israel supporters for singing the theme song to the 1960 movie Exodus. Guess what? At the age of 81, he'll be giving his first performance ever in Israel when he appears at the Mann Auditorium in Tel Aviv on March the 1st. His show's expected to sell out really early.
I bet it does. Last Monday morning saw another attempt by a Palestinian terrorist to stab soldiers at a roadblock near Jenin, north of Jerusalem. The attacker was shot and wounded without hurting any of his intended victims. The incident came 2 days after a similar attack by two assailants at a nearby Bekaa checkpoint ended with the assailant being shot by security forces. In related news, the Shin Bet announced Sunday that it recently broke up a cell of Islamist terror militia Hamas, which was planning to carry out attacks in the Hebron area.
That's all the time we have today.
It is.
So we'll see you on Friday. Remember, pray for the peace of Jerusalem. Thank you for standing with us. We love you so much.
Thank you.